How much is too much? No matter what my child is doing online, isn't there a point where just staring at the screen can start to rot his brain? Heck, our parents worried about TV, and the internet seems so much worse than that. Seriously, even if a kid is just doing math problems, quantity is just as big an issue as content. I'm Deborah Gilboa, a board-certified family physician and associate clinical professor at the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine. I'm a parenting and youth development expert and a mom of 4 kids. I'm also the family engagement director at Reset Summer Camp, a camp to help kids with addictive behaviors around technology. And I have to tell you, quantity does matter. Think of it like this. If your child wanted ice cream for every meal, you'd say, hey, that's not healthy for you. But even if he wanted only broccoli and green beans, you wouldn't let him sit down to eat them at 8 a.m. and keep eating them without stopping until 8 p.m., right? Even if it was the healthiest food possible, you'd stop him and say, that's enough. Get up from the table and do something else now, please. The same way you think about your kids' nutrition, you can think about how they consume online. You do have to think about the content. There are games and activities online that are healthy, some that are reasonable, and some that are poisonous to kids. But no matter how healthy the content, we still have to teach our kids to limit their quantity. And that's the real trick. Our kids need to learn to make healthy choices about quantity and have to learn how to turn it off on their own. Imagine that. Imagine seeing your child playing on a tablet or a phone and knowing that they'll turn it off on their own after a certain amount of time. It can be done. And we have to teach our kids these skills because they will quickly become adults with 24-hour access to all the online content in the world. If we don't build these habits now, they're going to be in real trouble as adults. Just like we need to teach them healthy eating habits in content and quantity, it's our responsibility to educate and motivate them to set their own limits around their own screen time. How? 3 steps. Number 1, start with you. On average, adults in America spend 11 hours a day using technology. Click, post, scroll, binge, repeat. Turn on a tracking app on your own devices to figure out what kind of example you're really setting. Kids don't do what we tell them nearly as much as they do what we show them. So assess your own use and then try transitioning to a little less. Get to know your phone or tablet or computer a little better because most have ways to limit your time or set alarms to let you know when you're over the limits you've chosen. Use technology in the ways you want your child to use it when she's an adult. Number 2, learn the science together. Ask your child what's great about being online as much as you want, and then ask them what's bad about being online that much. Your child or teen already has some views about technology, and you'll get much further if you learn what they believe now, and then see what beliefs you can develop together. And don't be afraid of disagreeing. Set each of you a question to go answer from a trusted source, like, what benefits are there to video games? Can video games cause permanent changes in the brain? How does social media help people build relationships? What about social media makes people more anxious, depressed, or isolated? What can we learn on streaming apps and how well do online videos teach skills and ideas? How are brains affected by different amounts of viewing time? What are oxytocin and dopamine and norepinephrine? And how does using social media and games and even texting change how we feel? Have those conversations together. And last, number 3, challenge yourself and your child to try a change. Pay attention to how it feels. We're people, so change is hard. We don't have to like it. You and your child or teen don't have to choose the same limits or the same goals, and you don't have to feel the same way about it. The purpose of this is not to decide on a certain number that no one may exceed. The purpose is, and this is what we as parents spend decades trying to do with our kids, it's learning about changing our behaviors. You're an expert at helping this young person change their behaviors. You already taught them to sleep in a bed, eat at a table, use the potty. You got them to say please and thank you sometimes, to share, to go to school, to have meaningful conversations, and even to help out around the house. All those things are hard to do. They're hard to learn and they're hard to teach. You can do this. You can give your child a lot of practice in changing their own behaviors around technology. They need not only to know why it matters how much they spend staring at a screen, they also need practice trying to set limits around doing it. It won't be a smooth change. There'll be a lot to talk about and a lot to feel, and that's okay. You are an expert in this kid. You know what they can handle and how to help them handle a little bit more, or in this case, a little bit less. If you're a visual person, or your child is, grab the principal guide by clicking on it below. Change is hard, and tech overuse is a very real problem for a lot of our kids. I'm going to get in touch periodically with strategies for keeping kids safe online without making them hate you. But you can make a small change, and teaching our kids how to make small change is how we make them healthier in every aspect of their lives for the rest of their lives. If you feel like you've tried all these strategies and your situation is harder to handle than I'm implying, reach out to me. As parents, the last thing we ever want to do is just give up on our kids. I'm the family engagement director at Reset Summer Camp, that place I mentioned for kids who show addictive tendencies around social media, gaming, streaming, and technology. If you're scared by some of the behaviors you're seeing at home, click the Reset link below and we'll reach out to you and help.